In most cases, a resume and cover letter are the only supporting documents you'll need in your job search. At least they are the ones employers require. But there are other materials that can make your job search even easier. They can make you stand out from the crowd, help you contact employers, or help you expand your network. I'm talking about portfolios, phone scripts, and JIST cards. Some of these might not be familiar to you, but I guarantee that they are powerful tools in your job search and can come in very handy. If you've ever had trouble cramming all of your experiences and accomplishments into a one-page resume, you should consider creating a portfolio.
People absorb information in a lot of different ways. If you're thinking about a hiring manager and what he or she is considering as they evaluate different candidates, you want to think about how they might best learn what you have to offer. So some people learn by talking. They'll hear what you have to say, they'll hear you describe an example in an interview. That may be effective. But imagine then pulling out a concrete example of the instance that you just described. Maybe it's a picture of the result that you achieved. So that would be a component in a portfolio. And a portfolio is a collection of your successes. It can be compiled in a variety of ways. It could be online, for instance. You could have an online portfolio that you refer people to in your job search. It could also be just a simple manila folder where you've tucked inside 4 or 5 printed pieces of paper that demonstrate your expertise in a certain area. A portfolio gives you an added dimension as compared to other job searchers. Most job searchers, vast majority, I would say close to 98% of them, will go to an interview and talk their way through it. A small percentage will put together an impressive portfolio of their successes and be able to share that as part of their interview process. And with that, you gain a strong advantage. Another key advantage to using a portfolio is it's a great confidence builder. I had one client describe it as a security blanket, and he always felt more confident walking into an interview with his folder of portfolio examples because he knew if he stumbled on a question, he could always flip open his portfolio and look for inspiration in a concrete example of when he'd succeeded. A resume can't really provide that visual impact.
Portfolios have been around for centuries, although in the past they were created only by artists or educators. In recent years, however, job seekers across all industries have recognized the value of compiling records of their experience and accomplishments for employers to look through. That doesn't mean that everyone has a portfolio, of course. In fact, outside of a few fields like graphic arts, where they are all but required, very few job seekers take the time to create a portfolio. All the more reasons why yours would stand out.
With the huge growth in online communication, for example, Facebook pages, personal websites, a portfolio as a tool is gaining popularity. People are realizing that by sharing visual examples, audio examples, video examples of their work and successes, they're getting a leg up over the competition.
What you put in your portfolio is ultimately up to you, although it also depends on the job you are seeking. Take a moment and look over the following list of possibilities. Be sure to write down any that you think you might include in your own portfolio. Compiling and assembling all of these documents might sound complicated and time-consuming, but it doesn't have to be. In fact, computer software and web-based applications allow you to create a digital portfolio that is easier to create and share. You can mail your digital portfolio to an employer, send it as an attachment, or post it to your own personal website and direct employers to it. Better still, some job portfolio sites such as Carbon Made and Visual CV, allow you to create and post your portfolio for free using their programs and templates. A portfolio can help you stand out from the crowd, but keep the employer in mind. Most employers barely have time to look over your resume, let alone go through a 20-page record of your accomplishments. However, if you get an employer's attention, and your resume suggests you have potential, employers are usually more than happy to take a look at your portfolio, giving you the advantage.
Hi, my name is Julie Robbins. I spoke to John Calder over at CCI, and he suggested I contact you to see if you might have any open positions in your marketing department. I have a degree in business administration and 3 years of experience in advertising and accounts management. In my last job, I was promoted twice in the span of 3 years, and I was personally responsible for several million-dollar accounts. I am a team player and highly self-motivated with a penchant for meeting deadlines early. Even if there are no immediate openings, is there any chance I can meet with you to discuss what I could bring to your company?
Imagine you were an employer. What would you say to her? She makes it look easy and sound professional because she's working from a script. And so can you. In a previous video, we emphasized the importance of contacting employers directly for job leads. While this job search method takes courage, it can be a lot easier if you have a phone script in front of you. By writing down what you want to say to employers, you will not only feel more at ease in the conversation, you will also be sure to tell the employer what they most need to know. Let's go back to Julie's conversation and uncover what makes for a good phone script.
Hi, my name is Julie Robbins. I spoke to John Calder over at CCI, and he suggested I contact you to see if you might have any open positions in your marketing department.
Stop there. Obviously, the first thing you want to do is to introduce yourself and state why you are calling. Also, as with your cover letter, you will want to mention anyone who might have referred you. Remember, employers prefer to hire people based on recommendations from others. Let's see what comes next.
I have a degree in business administration and 3 years of experience in advertising and accounts management. In my last job, I was promoted twice in the span of 3 years, and I was personally responsible for several million-dollar accounts.
What comes next is a brief, and I mean brief, summary of your experience, skills, and accomplishments. Notice how Julie gave facts and figures to showcase her achievements. You have only a few seconds, so be sure to pick something that will get the employer's attention and show him or her what you are capable of.
I am a team player and highly self-motivated with a penchant for meeting deadlines early.
Try to include a statement that includes your best personal attributes or adaptive skills. If possible, use keywords that might have been mentioned in the job description or that you know will appeal to the employer.
Even if there are no immediate openings, is there any chance I can meet with you to discuss what I could bring to your company?
Finally, you will want to close by asking for an interview, even if there are no positions available. While you may not always get the response you want, remember that it only costs a few seconds of your time to make the call. And you may be surprised at how many employers will be willing to meet with you, or at least look at your resume, just based on this one phone call. Even if 1 out of 10 calls lead to an interview, and you make 10 calls a day, that's still 5 interviews a week just for picking up the phone. Business cards. Every day, millions of them are exchanged in hopes of future contact. If you are unemployed, you are in the business of finding a job. Wouldn't it be nice if you had a card that you could give to prospective employers, detailing your skills and experience and giving them an easy way to contact you if a position comes up? Take a look at this. It's called a JIST card, and it can be a very handy tool for networking, contacting employers, and landing interviews. JIST cards represent what employers need to know most and give them a convenient way to store your contact information.
A JIST card is a convenient way to expand your network. It takes about 20 seconds for someone to read a JIST card. You can give them to everyone, friends and family, potential employers, post them on bulletin boards, attach them to resumes, send them with thank you notes. They're usually inexpensive and they're different enough that they might help you stand out from the crowd.
You can think of a JIST card as a mini resume. Let's take a closer look at one and see how it's put together. Because this is a networking tool, your name and contact information should go on top. Be sure to include both a phone number and an email address. Next, list the position desired or at least the field or industry you want to work in. That way, anyone you give it to knows what you're looking for. The body of the JIST card contains information about your work experience as well as your educational background. Follow that with short descriptions of your best skills, work tasks, and achievements. Be sure to include facts and figures when possible. Finally, close your JIST card with a couple of brief sentences describing those personal qualities that set you apart and make you an ideal candidate. As with your resume, you'll want to make sure your JIST card reflects a professional you. Have it printed on nice cardstock and be sure it's error-free. Most importantly, don't be stingy with them. Give them out to anyone you think can help you in your job search. You never know when one might find its way to the hands of a new boss. Resumes, cover letters, portfolios, phone scripts, and JIST cards. These documents won't get you a job, but they will make your job of finding one easier. When professionally done, these documents can help you stand out from the crowd. When sloppy or incomplete, they can easily get you screened out. Take the time and prepare your materials. And remember that everything you do, every email you send, every resume you mail, every phone call you make, makes an impression. So make it a good one.